reporter with the Washington Times, and David Mercer, a Democratic strategist, joining us now. Kelly, there is no doubt Donald Trump doesn't care what 50 people in D.C. or who served in administrations that got us into the Iraq War say or do at this point. But what amazes me is that Republicans have an opportunity at this point to maybe regain the White House, and they are not supporting him. Why not?
Well, I think they want to protect, all these insiders want to protect their power and privilege and the establishment
many
class.
of them are not even in government anymore. They're think tanks.
Well, but think tanks get the money from fundraisers. They get the money from, it's just a political cycle here in D.C., and us who live here know about it, and there's an insider class that Donald Trump has, from day one, run against. What I find most disheartening is the fact that these elites, they had their candidate in Jeb Bush or in Marco Rubio, and Donald Trump easily defeated them. Jeb Bush had $100 million behind him, and at the end of the day, he has just 3 delegates to show for that. So what does that show? That there's a huge messaging gap between the elites and the base. The base has left the elites, and the elites haven't. They haven't discovered that. They haven't grown wary of that, and are reconciling their policies to meet the base.
I'm sure that David has a completely different take, and that it's Hillary's policies that are attracting Republicans.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure, David. I think it's just that they feel extremely uncomfortable with certain things in the past that Donald Trump has said. Maybe he has now changed, and with this new economic policy plan that's out, some of it is very popular. What is Hillary going to do to keep her trajectory going in the same direction?
Well, her trajectory is going in the same direction, and we also see Trump's going in his direction, which is down, 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 much like a sinking ship. Why you see so many defections is because it's not a ship that is off course. This is a ship with holes in it, and Donald Trump has nothing to offer either in his record or in his plan, which is very broad, shy on specifics as to how he's going to raise the income of the middle-class American so that they can afford college for their children.
You understand, David,
and so forth.
What's been going on isn't exactly working for the middle class. The wealth gap has gotten bigger and bigger. And Kelly, okay, go ahead, finish that, and then I'll get to Kelly.
To that. Well, if I might say to that, Liz, the wage gap between productivity and wages has been wide, and a big gap over the last 20, 30 years.
Wealthy and the middle
but
class.
We've seen 2.3% rise in income from last year. So we're seeing that increase. But Republicans might want to raise the minimum wage, as Democrats have advocated for years. Well,
what about that, Kelly? You know, Donald Trump says by cutting the corporate tax rate, that is certainly sort of supply side, or some call it trickle-down economics. And you know, the poor, who Donald Trump has some segment of the less wealthy, certainly, but he doesn't have poor minorities. They're wondering, do I have to wait and see if my boss is going to pass down the savings of a corporate tax cut to me?
This is where the Washington elite's help would be great, because actually Donald Trump's tax plan resembles that closely that the House GOP Republicans put forth. And what needs to happen is we need to show how growth will actually reinvigorate growth through GDP stronger than this 1.2% that we have right now into the 4%, actually will trickle down and help. All Hillary Clinton is doing is a redistribution of wealth that actually hurts the middle class, that actually hurts the people on the lowest rungs of the ladder, the minorities.
David, quickly, how is Hillary going to battle a very popular tax cut for a lot of segments that Donald Trump is offering? Her speech is Thursday.
Remind the American people what happened when we had the Bush tax cuts and 2 wars on 2 fronts.
Bigger deficits.
And where we ended up going from a surplus to a deficit. And all you have to do is go to the state of Kansas and look at Governor Brownback's plan. First on promises of creating jobs, on tax cuts.
70% of Americans don't think we're on the right path. They think we're headed down the wrong path. That is a repudiation of President Obama and of Hillary Clinton's policies.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
Okay, we shall. Kelly Riddell, David Mercer, we're going to put you both back. I do appreciate the lively discussion here. It's never ending as the closing bell is